Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. My guest this morning is, well, two of them, actually. We have two of them. First of all, we got Dr. Tony Ofoyeto. It wasn't a mistake. I could have said Mr., but I did say Dr. Tony Ofoyeto. Congratulations on your honorary doctorate. But Tony, important, thank you very much for the people who appreciated you with Doctor, but we appreciate you for your security expertise, and that's when we bring you around. And look, I won't dare say that you know, they kidnapped yet again, and because I think we're beginning to have a serious problem where it appears that those guys can pick off at will whoever they want when they want. Yeah, maybe that's frustration speaking, but it is. They have already demanded a ransom. 3 veterinary doctors were picked off, and we'll talk with you. But let me see if we've been joined by Superintendent of Police Ajayi Okasami, who is the PPRO of the Kwara State Police Command. We're working on him. He's agreed to come on and tell us a bit more about it. But in the meantime, Tony, 3 people, it happened to be veterinary doctors. Were they targeted? Were they not targeted? But what is this matter of kidnapping for ransom has now become almost like the norm?
Well, you know, we have discussed this severally on this platform. And we keep pointing to the fact that because most of the people that were involved in this act got away with it, it became a major encouragement. You know, the criminal mindset is all die and I die. The main thing is if I succeed, I get it. If I did not succeed. Now, but unfortunately as it is now, the government has not been able to put up a template that will be able to address kidnapping for ransom. Kidnapping, be it for ransom or be it for ritual, you know, in such a manner that it is easy for security agencies to fit in. And also the fact that security is also being underfunded to a large extent is also not helping matter. I'll give you an example. A policeman is told that there was a kidnapping somewhere, and the DPO says, can you go and see what has happened? Now, the first thing that comes to his mind is, how do I get there? How do I get there is a major thing, because in most cases they keep falling back on the family's victim now to say, how do we fuel the vehicle and all those, which is not supposed to be. Unfortunately, it is. Now, that is one major area. Why? Because government is not really funding the agency the way it ought to. I'll give you another example. Undercover agents are such that are able to help your intelligence network. They help your intelligence network by giving you raw information that you can process into intelligence. But to be able to successfully execute undercover agency job, you need a lot of fund, because there are monies that you are going to throw away that may not be accounted for. There are places that, yes, extremely expensive. Now, the more you see security fall apart, it speaks volume about intelligence, because intelligence is like a central hub. Once you miss it at that level, a lot of things begin to go apart. That's why you have higher level of banditry. Terrorism is there. Domestic terrorism is there. You talk about a different ethnic group and ethnic militia coming up almost simultaneously at the same time. And as it is now, the security agencies are being overwhelmed. Not that they are not working, but they cannot be everywhere at the same time. And that becomes a vulnerability that the threat of kidnapping will exploit. The threat of robbery will exploit. The threat of domestic terrorism will exploit. Now, that is what you are seeing. Look, the criminal or the armed robber, criminal, let me put it now, is a man that sees you. He knows you and know who you are. But you are seeing him. You don't know him and you don't know who he is. And because of that, he has the double advantage over you. He knows where you are going. Even if he's following you, you don't know that he's the criminal because it's not written on his forehead. So it will take a third eye, which is called the undercover agent now, to be able to help you. Now he is seeing you. How will you be able to see him? It is through the network and the instrumentality of intelligence.
And it is that very intelligence that you say is seriously underfunded,
That
they cannot really effectively perform.
Yes, as
now,
it is
complicating the issue further, you see, nobody really will enjoy the whole idea of these people kidnapping for ransom, and you come up with the ransom. And indeed, we have heard the authorities talk tough. We will not, we will not. No, in fact, some successes, you hear the statement that no ransom was paid and that kind of a thing. Most people understand why you can't begin to encourage these people by acceding to their demands. But family that you talked about, the family of victims, muddy the waters a bit, perhaps more than a bit. And it's an emotional thing that perhaps one can understand. Whereas on the one hand, the official line is no ransoms will be tolerated. They don't even think about it. The people, the family is thinking of their brother, their father. To the police, it's a case. To the authorities, it's a case. To the victim's family, that's our father right there. That's our mother. So the emotional charge from there, do you think much of the argument that the family oftentimes clutter up the resolve that we have taken by doing what is natural?
Like you rightly said, you see, it is he who wears the shoes that know where it pinches. The emotional attachment and pain to your loved one being kidnapped is something that is better imagined than experienced. Having said so, my problem really is not with whether ransom was paid or ransom was not paid. Once the life has been recovered, the victim has been recovered safe. However, the responsibility of the security agency starts from there. And that is one thing that the security agencies must understand.
It shouldn't be the end of the case.
It should not.
But oftentimes
it is the end.
They move on to the next case because they're swamped.
Yes.
They're swamped, as you said.
So it is not supposed to be the end. And look, that is why I give it to Lagos State. Every time I talk about things like this, I give it to Lagos State. Because in Lagos State, and that is why you discover, look at the rate of kidnapping in Lagos State. Not minding that Lagos State is about 20 million and above, you will discover that it is one of the lowest. One of the reasons is this. It is not because you cannot kidnap in Lagos. It's not because ransom will not be paid. But whether you will live to spend that ransom is another case. It's left for God. I hope you understand. Now, what I think that, look,
no, when you said that,
let's leave that.
Because it's it's very, very important because you're showing you're speaking about the differences. You observe the whole policy, and that you talk about Lagos. That why is it that Lagos we have 20 million? Lagos is where we're broadcasting from, by the way. We have 20 million odd, and the census of kidnapped people is relatively low. But then, intriguingly, you said because. It remains to be seen whether you will actually live.
See, the security culture of every state is well understood by the criminals. Well understood by the criminals.
So where there is zero tolerance, they will know.
They will know.
Where they can compromise, they will know. Where they are soft, they will know.
They will know. There was a time that Lagos State was the headquarters of robbery in this country. When Lagos State decided that enough was enough, you discover that Ogun State and Oyo State played very beautiful host to the robbers and the like. So it's like no longer robbery and the like. And you will look at the rate today. You see, it's relatively low compared to other states.
You spoke about Oyo State and Ogun State, these are very close to. What do you mean by very beautiful hosts to the?
No, you see, when Lagos State became hot,
they moved.
They would have to move.
And where
are they moving to? They moved to Ogun State. And if Ogun State is saying we are not housing you, they move to Oyo State. And Oyo State decide what to do. The farther they go, the better for Lagos State and all those stuff like that. So it's a
But the objective surely is that there should be no place for them to stay,
very well,
to hide. They are accommodated.
Well. There was a time that banditry, terrorism, and the like was so hot in the northeast that Niger and Chad were shouting. Why? Because they could no longer have a place to stay in Maiduguri, in Yobe, and Adamawa and the like. They pushed them even to Cameroon. And the border became the battleground. That's what we are talking about. We are talking of a situation where you put the criminal on the run. You put them, it's not, you are not supposed to be on the defense. You put them on the run to the extent that they no longer have a peace, even when they are sleeping.
You know, Tony, what you're saying sounds, worryingly close to almost like a state of open warfare between those guys and the authorities. You're talking about them pushing back. They're not scared like most ordinary, most normal people would be. You don't want any police trouble. If police almost caught you, you thank your leave, you thank your stars that you escaped. You don't go and regroup and come back.
Not at all, of course. You won't do that. You won't do that as a citizen.
But we are hearing that this. So what kind of elements are these? You look at the papers this morning, not very little is reassuring. Displaced headsmen, now bandits, that's according to Mieti Allah, that's on the front page of The Guardian. And, it's all over the place. Some are even going as far. Some headlines are going as far as Nigeria falling apart. Well, under your watch. Okay, that's the Northern Elders Forum to President Buhari.
No, it's not the first time the Northern
Elders Forum. But it's all pointing to the fact that we have a state of consternation.
I think that the government, for me, should be very strategic and a little bit more proactive.
How? Because the word proactive you said there. I wanted to ask you, sorry for interrupting you, Tony. I wanted to ask you, is there anything we, the citizens, can do? Because oftentimes I hear about intelligence being dependent on the citizenry. Is there a part in which we, the citizens, are also falling down on the job of our own security?
Well, for now, the Nigerian culture and template as it is now is such that does not accommodate too much of contribution from the citizens to the security agencies. Not minding that, yes, not minding that you have boys populace, you have boxes of opinion and the like in all security agencies and the like, asking you to, if you say something and all those stuff. Why? Because over the years, people that saw something and said something never lived to see what came out of what they said. So because of that, people have been very skeptical and withdrawn. So it means that the government have to rebuild confidence, and it is not a matter of propaganda and all those media things. So confidence will be built with the activities of the government.
And this can be a very slow process.
Yes,
because breaking trust is simple. Yes. I mean, it's easy to do. But rebuilding it.
Yeah, but there are a lot of things that the government can do to rebuild it.
Okay.
Fairness, justice, and equity will become, a major platform upon which government will rebuild confidence. If you are executing security on certain areas because of certain things that happen, and the same or similar thing is happening in other regions, you should do the same thing. Now, those will build trust and confidence over time. But in a situation where you bring politics, ethnicity, or religion into executing security, you discover that it will deepen the trust the more, distrust the more. And that is one area that the government should look into.
All those things you just spoke about, you're citing them as remote causes to the problem we find ourselves.
Not just remote, even immediate. Remote is too far. Even immediate. Because, look, I'll tell you one thing. Government has over time built the culture of violence, recognizing violence and rewarding violence. If you and I put up a petition to government to say that there are security challenges in our community and we want government or the police to attend to it, nobody attend to it until one day somebody takes a bomb, maybe a petrol bomb, put it inside maybe one of the police stations. The IGP will move from Abuja down to that very locality. I've said this before. So you discover that, yes, you now discover that it takes violence to gain the attention of which is not supposed to be. Look at the people that were celebrating, non-state actors, Sunday Igboha, Nnamdi Kanu, let me just leave it out, those Asari Dokubos, all those Tompolos and the like. These are non-state actors that today are major force. They are major force. If you hear Tony Ofoyeton, it doesn't make any sense to DSS. But if you hear Sunday Igboho today, DSS want to hear what is he saying. They want to give his restricted interpretation. They want to come with all the artillery of warfare and all those stuff like that. I think that as it is now, it is good good enough that all these people, if you ask me, I'll say, let not government make monster out of them. There are people that can still be, you can still sit them down, talk to them. Because whether we like it or not, consciously or unconsciously, they are also gaining patronage. They are also gaining some level of support. Why they are, some people that understand the art of warfare and know the implication of what war is will know very well that it is not those that beat the drum of war that will definitely dance to it. And those that have experienced war will tell you, look, we are better off not fighting.
Exactly.
Yes, we are better off not fighting. It makes more sense to have a better united Nigeria. It makes more sense. But there are people that have also suffered loss, either their wives, their children, and the like. They will support this set of people. There are people that have suffered loss either in their farmland or in their villages or in their houses. They are strongly in support of this set of people. They may not come out to support, they may not come out, but they may even be financiers. Now that is why now that we are talking, now that it has not snowballed into war, it has not snowballed into crisis, what do you need to do? You don't need to carry out the mercenary of army, soldiers and the like and say go and bomb them. All we need to do as far as I'm concerned is identify the real and the true agitation. Attend to those real and true agitation and you will see that naturally those things will die. And you will make a nonsense out of the whole big man, out of the whole whatever. You will just puncture, just a needle will puncture this balloon. But if, unfortunately, we are not doing what? We are not doing the right thing, you will discover that as time goes on, these people begin to build more and more support. They begin to build more and more sponsorship. You will not see people from diaspora, government coming to talk about them and all those stuff like that. So as far as I'm concerned, let the government and security agencies be more strategic rather than this for. Look at what happened in the East, where the Army and the ESN also, the Eastern Security Network, had to engage themselves. We don't need it. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, it's uncalled for.
It's a very worrying proposition. Good morning, Mr. George, and thank you for holding on a bit.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Dr. Tony.
Good morning, sir.
Congratulations for your new title, Tony.
Thank you.
Uncle Yori, if Nigeria, if merit were to be the basis of putting people in positions in this our country, somebody like Tony would have been our national security advisor. But it is not so. We heard the president say about 2 weeks ago that children's kidnapping in Niger State would be the last.
Yes.
But it wasn't up to 24 hours before another one happened. And kidnapping has become the order of the day. This is what you get if there are no prompt actions when things happen. It is getting out of hand. I would suggest to the government that money, $1.5 billion that they are planning to waste in a refinery in Port Harcourt, a third of it can be used to equip the police that allow them to address kidnapping effectively. They will have money to buy equipment. They will pay the policemen properly and ensure credible intelligence that will give them results. That is what I think we should do.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling.
To be in this in Nigeria, Uncle Yori.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in there. As I said, I thanked George there. But we've been saying this in various forms. You've said it. So it comes down to the priority. What is the priority? What does the priority list look like? Interesting. The way Mr. George put it there, you know that we can source 1.5 billion. It's not as if that 1.5 billion, even Mr. George himself knows, it's not as if it's on the table and we're saying that we're pushing it on. No, it's not quite like that. They've explained it. But look, if you're earmarking that kind of money, what is wrong if the priority is indeed so to put a decent sum towards what you've been talking about and what George just spoke about in there, which is making the police a lot more effective than they are at the moment. they have spoken ad infinitum about the numbers of the police being ridiculously, the ratio of police to citizen, all of that. So I don't know, the same way they want to revamp that Port Harcourt refinery. You might say, what are the connections? I don't know. Isn't there a priority to revamp the police? And as you said, get to this stage where we want to be transparent about these matters. We're not keeping things anymore. I don't know, because there are people behind all of these activities. Yes. Government knows these peoples.
There are a lot of considerations that I think are not also helping the country, as it were. The first thing is, yes, we agree to the extent that there's the necessity to increase the numerical strength of the police. Yes. The first minimum shot I expect is that we should have a minimum of 2 million police, as against 350,000 we have today. A minimum of 2 million police. And I expect that the security, the army, the navy, and the like a combination should not be less than 5 million. All. I expect that should not be less than 5 million.
But we're nowhere near those figures, as you know.
Combination is not up to 1 million.
Exactly.
Everything. It's not up to 1 million. So that's to tell you that we are under-policed, extremely under-policed.
Making the job a lot more difficult.
Yes, once we are under-policed, there is no grammar we will blow here that will make any difference. And it will continue. You can't do the same thing. I expect different results. This is the worry. We come here every day upon an occasion like this, and then we start talking about much the same thing we spoke about. Look, it will continue. I'm not a prophet of doom, but it will continue because we are doing the same thing in the same manner year in, year out. And we expect different results. How?
Okay. Anthony in Jos, good morning, and thank you for calling in.
Hello?
Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please. Wow. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Anthony, if you can hear us.
I'm hearing you, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead and contribute.
Of the day.
Make your contribution, Anthony.
Yeah. Look at whenever the Fulani headsmen attack, they will not even say any meaningful thing about it. But when the other opposition retaliates, that is when the government of the day will be more serious about insecurity. That's all I want to say. The head from the beginning to the head of the government is bad. Nothing good will come out of this government as I'm seeing it now.
Well, thank you very much for your contribution, Anthony. Well,
no, you see, it may be too blunt.
People are
conclusion.
The expectations of people are extremely high. In fact, some have said, never mind extremely, exceedingly high. Maybe it's one and the same thing, but it's like we can't even get to where people sort of expected it. I don't know if people have expected.
You know, we're talking about trust.
Because what the authorities are saying is that what you're talking about is almost like asking for magic, and it's about governance here. We've got to work it. We're on the ground. Let's do this together. We cannot do it alone. And all of you know what the authorities say.
This whole thing, there's no rocket science in this thing. There's no rockets. It's either you don't know what to do or you know what to do, you don't want to do it. There's no rocket science in this thing. Look, there are people that are experts in each field. Economics, politics, religion, governance, in terms of security and the like. All you need to do as a leader, let's assume without conceding that you don't know what to do, is identify those that are experts in this field, put them there and allow them to do it according to their expertise without interfering.
That's the
problem, and you will get results.
That's the problem right there.
Unfortunately, when you put them there, chief of this staff, chief of that staff, you put them there. When they give you expertise report, do you approve it or do you subject it to different other consideration, thereby making a mockery of their professional expertise? And at the end of the day, you see, many a times when we criticize all these service chiefs, the police, the army and the like, when we criticize them many a time, they may not be able to come back to explain to you what they told Mr. President.
That they are not incompetent.
Do you understand?
You know, they cannot explain that.
They cannot explain it.
That's what you're thinking. Because we can only be guessing.
No, you see.
Because a lot of people.
I agree
I
with
grant you that I hear this a lot.
I agree with you, but you see, many a times, their security reports and suggestions to Mr. President may be different, because you discover that at times it is even the politician that will be imposing on them what to do. Are you there with me? A politician that is a veterinary medical doctor, who is a senator or a member of the presidency, is telling the NSA what to do. He's telling the service chief what to do. And the service chief is looking at him from that higher exalted position, and maybe also want to protect his own pot of soup. You see, now you now discover that they are multifaceted problems.
Let me hear from Banji in Ojota. Good morning, Banji. I lost Banji there. You know, you said it's not rocket science. I like that. I like that. It's straightforward. It's simple. There are people who know what to do to sort this problem out. Your charge is that whether their expertise is indeed taken into consideration in the way we act, that is, we, the authorities with power, the way we act, you say that is the one that you are doubting right now.
Very well, 100% in doubt of. I agree that there are some that are expert and greedy. I agree. But you see, there's a difference between corruption and end results. Corruption can impede.
No, I thought you were going to say there's a difference between corruption and stealing.
No. No. Don't put me in that box.
Let me catch Kesandu. Good morning, Kesandu.
Uncle Yori, I greet you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Ken Kesandu Kingsley.
Thank you.
You see, I think every Nigerian at this material time should be ashamed vis-a-vis the current state of insecurity in Nigeria, our inability to curb it. You see, I am so pained that this same military we are talking about were the same people who went to some African countries and did wonders and came back successfully. What is wrong? I think it is high time, Mr. President, stop some of these people telling him that he's doing so well, go back to the comfort of his room, call some of the persons who mean well for this country. Let us talk about this. Let me tell you, these adopters, where are they? Are they not in Nigeria? Do they kidnap these people and fly into thin air? Somebody somewhere is not doing the right job. There should be so much intelligent gathering. The problem we're having is that we're not being proactive. You know, when some governors talk about the people leaving their bushes, it's as if it's being politicized. Where are these people taking these people to? People will come broad daylight or in the evening or at the night, take our students, travel unchallenged on the way. Nobody will talk to them. They will stay in a bush, which I don't even understand if these bushes they turn to spirits when they live here. Somebody somewhere, it is the responsibility of our military to guide this territorial integrity. These bushes, where are they located? I was saying we will just put our arms and watch some of these people perpetrate this evil broad daylight. I think Mr. President should open up. It's not about talking. And have you noticed that whenever Mr. President speaks, the people will do the worst the next day.
Okay.
Every 24 hours. So I think Mr. President should mandate these people. Let us flush out these bushes. Where these people are hiding. You see, nobody should talk about negotiating with terrorists. These people are pure terrorists. We won't negotiate with them. Anybody who has aggrieved or has an issue will come out on a peaceful protest and probably tender a letter to the presidency, National Assembly. We'll hear your take, we'll hear your problem and address it. But the issue of going, because you might have a genuine case, the way you present it will make you lose it. The issue of going to adopt people and telling us that you have a serious people should look into your case, we'll take exception to that. So all I'm saying is that Mr. President to act presidential.
Okay, Kesandu, thank you very much. Kesandu, thank you very, very much for calling in. Kesandu from Imo State there. And I'm relieved that we're now able to talk with Supo, the PPRO of the Kwara State Police Command, Supo Ajayi Okasami. Did I get the rank right? Is it Superintendent of Police? Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Okasami.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us. Did I get the rank right?
Good morning, sir.
Is it Supo? Okay, Mr. Okasami, if you can hear us.
I am Superintendent of Police.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I've just realized that there's a time lag between us, so I will, pause at the end of my, whatever it is that I say, for it to get to you. Now, we want to talk about the the veterinary doctors that were, kidnapped in the vicinity of the Kwara State Police Command. Could you tell us about that, please? First of all, you're confirming it, of course, right?
Actually, the audio is not as clear as desirable. But if I can pick from what you are asking, you're talking about the 3 victims kidnapped in the lorry on Monday.
Yes, the veterinary doctors.
Yeah, the veterinary doctors. Yeah, they were kidnapped in their farm on Monday at about 4:30 p.m. in the evening by 5 gun-wielding young men, and they were taken away. And the moment the information got to the command, the Commissioner of Police, CP Mohammed Lawal Bagega, directed an immediate trailing and possible rescue and arrest of the suspect. And that is exactly what we are still doing in the command right now.
Okay, because I was going to ask what the progress was on the progress of the police on the trail of these abductors. Is there anything to report yet?
Actually, I can say it's an isolated case because as far as we are concerned in Kwara State, we have a very tight security architecture, and like I said, and like it's known by every individual in Kwara State, that the Commissioner of Police is a very professional and hardworking commissioner of police. We have already on ground mechanism to prevent such occurrences, but they took advantage of what was happening in Kwara State and did that on Monday. And as I speak to you, we are on their trail, and I can't tell you exactly what the command is doing on how to get them rescued, but I can tell you, sweet will be the story at the end of the day.
Can you tell us if, because we've been speaking about this particular thing I'm about to say now before you came on, the state of intelligence that law enforcement officials should be depending on. How happy are you about the state of intelligence in Kwara State? Did you know you have kidnappers amongst you or people who could abduct for ransom? Did you know that until they struck?
In Kwara State, we dwell much on this mantra, community policing, as initiated by the Inspector General of Police. And when you look at the pillars of community policing, it has to do with intelligence-led policing. It has to do with the interrelationship with the police and members of the public. And that has been helping us seriously in Kwara State. Because if you compare Kwara State to other states in the country, talking about crime, you know that in Kwara State we have a very relatively peaceful environment here. So this is ensured as a result of the relationship we have with all the stakeholders in Kwara State. And that has helped us on our intelligence gathering progress in Kwara State. We gather intelligence, we process them, and it has been helping us. Most of the kidnap cases we have in Kwara State in the recent past are done in other states, and they brought them to Kwara State to hide because they know Kwara State is peaceful. That's as a result of the hard work the command is putting on ground and the level of intelligence. We rescue them in Kwara State, they kidnap from other states, they bring them to Kwara, we rescue them and release them. So this one, I can tell you, as a result of the intelligence on ground, I can tell you without mincing word that at the end of the day, they'll be rescued without any money paid. If you remember, in 2019, 4 Turkish nationalists were kidnapped in Kwara State, and the 4 of them were rescued alive without paying a penny to the abductors, and 6 of them were arrested, 4 in 2019, and 2 remaining suspects were arrested this year. So I can assure you that there are plans on ground. The Commissioner of Police has actually put security architecture on ground to ensure that these suspects are equally arrested. We're working hard, and the people are giving us information. Our intelligence structure is very, very strong on ground. I can assure you that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okasomi. Now, as a result of this, this unfortunate incident, the doctors were kidnapped from their farms, we understand. Were different farms? Was it a coordinated operation, or how? Or were they all in one place?
Like I said initially, that it was an isolated case. And it was an opportunistic incident, let me put it that way. It was not a plan. I believe they just got in there, met them working in the farm, and they took advantage.
The three of them were in one farm?
Huh?
The three of them were in one poultry farm?
We have two farms. We have two farms located in the same environment. The two farms were demarcated by just a thin line. So when you are here, you are seeing the other person. So they picked two from one. What's the name of the farm now? They picked two from one Bafford farm, then stepped to what's it called? Morola's farm. The two of them are just sharing boundary. So they picked two and picked one in the other farm, and making three of them that they picked.
So it looks like they knew. It looks like the abductors knew what they had come for. If the three people they pick up happen to be veterinary doctors, I mean, they didn't just happen to pick up one poultry hand or two gardeners. I mean, those are prize catches. Does it strike you that they were targeted? They knew? The network is giving us a bit of a problem, but still, we want to thank Supo Ajayi Okasami, PPRO of the Kwara State Police Command, for coming on, and he's helped us on a bit. And Tony, let me just pick it up from there. I just because the PPRO said one or two encouraging things, among others. That he was assuring that these people will be rescued and will be returned. I mean, I have to take that. I like that.
I'm optimistic too.
Exactly.
I'm optimistic too.
But I wonder if it was just a happy grab for them, or if they knew what they were doing, and they knew there's a difference. Never mind, there's a difference between a veterinary doctor in terms of kidnap ransom value and the storekeeper or whatever. But unfortunately, I don't even know if he would have been willing to share with me. But I just wanted to know how organized was it? How sophisticated was it? Were these some just fly-by-night operators?
I think he used a phrase, opportunistic kidnapping.
So if any of those doctors hadn't come to work those days.
So most likely, maybe. But having said so, I think Kwara State have to be on the watch out as it is. It takes just an incident to start. And if they are able to get it right, and they are able to put out all their scenario to ensure that they get those people, and to ensure that whosoever are the perpetrators are properly dealt with, it won't happen again.
It won't happen again.
But if they miss it here, it will become a recurring decimal in Kwara State.
But from the confident way the PPRO was speaking, it was an aberration to them, and that this kind of a thing. Because one of the other questions I wanted to ask him was, as a result of this, have they taken additional measures? And I wanted to put it to him within the context that we've spoken of earlier of not having enough policemen, able-bodied policemen, to do the work. But still, I wanted to know, are you able to do anything in case those guys are so professional, they want to come back in another week or two and make another statement? Because who made the statement? Was it not you who made the statement that after the president had said that what happened somewhere will never happen again?
No, of course, it was one of the callers. It was even in the news everywhere.
Yes,
the very next day, these guys went to kidnap.
So it looks like they are working in a particular kind of way. I think we've long realized that we are dealing here with a bunch of sophisticated criminals.
One thing is, I will still go back to intelligence, but this time around, I will go back to the fact that... Which the
Kwara statement said has been very useful to them.
He linked it with community policing, which is pedestral in terms of... but having said so, it's helping them, good for them. But you see, what I'm saying is this. If the government is not sincere and blunt enough to identify sponsors, internal sponsors, and make a scapegoat out of the so-called high and mighty, if the government is still shying away from it, it will continue. If the government is not able to identify those that are in government, those that are highly placed, that are sponsoring or supporting any act of criminality, terrorism, or banditry. Because let me tell you, these boys cannot afford AK-47. I can bet you they cannot afford it. You are talking of a gun of about 1.5 million or thereabouts.
So there's collusion
So they
between
cannot
the criminal
afford it.
and their masters.
Look at, yes, the bikes they use. If you look at the way they dress, they are always on betrothed slippers, 100 naira. The whole dress they will wear is not up to 1,000 naira. It's not up to 1,000. And they will wait AK-47.
And sophisticated transport.
And you will even be shocked that at the end of the day, some so-called big men will come out to be defending them. Defending the act of criminality and crime. I mean, for goodness sake, in a sane society, even coming to bail them when they are arrested, preventing them from being prosecuted. If the government is not sincere enough to fish out these people, make example out of them to the extent that they will publicly dissociate themselves from this group, it will continue because it's a big-time business.
Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
So you see, this issue of banditry, all this is a terrorist system. Now you ask yourself, where are we heading to presently in Nigeria? The community policing we are talking about, I think I'll suggest if we have something for the local government in Nigeria. Let the local government authorities start creating their own community policing and start doing the job by using all these vigilantes. There are a lot of young men and women in the villages that are ready to do this job. Now, what does it take a local government chairman to initiate, gather all these boys, go to the traditional rulers, go to the communities and ask the even religious that bring them in? By the time I read this was morning, afternoon, and evening. The evil forest, which the security men are afraid of going, let the community go there and comb the evil forest by themselves. By the time you comb all these evil forest, they are talking about evil forest, you will not get anything like government inside the bush. These people settle that they have they are using a generator there, they are using a TV there. How do they manage to enter that place? Is it not from the same route everybody is passing by? Now, what does it take Nigerian community in those areas to go and do this job? You see, sometimes when I listen to people are talking, I start laughing. This is a community that you find yourself. What does it take you to enter the bush there?
Okay.
The local hunters, what are they saying? Can't the authority they call them? You say, every day we continue shouting security. Look, we cannot, even if Nigeria don't want it, let them bring Israeli to come and solve the problem, or American Navy to come and solve this problem. If they don't want to use the community people to solve this problem, because the military and the overwhelmed, they cannot do anything. They are even tired of what this, whether they like it or not.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Mazi. And incidentally, we just got Supo Ajayi Okasomi back, the PPRO in the Kwara State Police Command. Okay, good that we got you back. Now, people have been speaking about you. I mean, you not just you, your comrade in arms, your fellow policemen, talking about the number of policemen and whether you were feeling pressure over there in Kwara State, like other formations, of not having enough hands for the tasks at hand. Is that affecting your operation, for example?
Thank you. Generally, it is generally known that police, not only in Kwara State, is not well staffed, and that was why the president and the Inspector General of Police said graciously approved the recruitment of about 10,000 men every year. And that's to tell you that generally the police strength is we still need more, but that does not in any way hamper the operation or the operational capability of police command in Kwara State.
Mm-hmm.
We have been doing what we are expected to do. The command has tried in every sphere of security provision for the state. That is why when, like I said earlier, when you compare the crime statistics in Kwara State to other states in Nigeria, you know that Kwara State is one of the most secured states, if not the first of the secure state in the whole state. That's why you see people coming to Kwara State, and you expect a developing state like Kwara that is fast growing, we expect different kind of individual to come into Kwara State. They are actually tasking us, but is not in any way preventing us from doing what we are expected to do. That is why the state is still peaceful.
That's good to hear. Stay with us, please, because I just got Emmanuel just came on and wants to join the conversation. Emmanuel is in Alimosho. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to add my own quota. You know, Dr. Tony said something about our government.
Yes.
That is what the responsibility bringing out the sponsors of these people, then at the same time putting them to the front line for people to know. In this same country that we have, people high and mighty, powerful people that they have these resources, that a case can take over 10 years in the court, dragging with this judiciary that we have. You know, there is problem. Our politicians, they are the problem of this country. To be sincere, they know the right thing to do. They know what to do when they are ready to do. I think it is high time that these people start running after them, because their children are not in this country.
I hear you, sir. Thank you very much for your contribution. And I know where you are going. But, you know, thank you. That idea, it comes from frustration, doesn't it? That look, if you begin to target certain types of people, then they will act, but we can't, you know, you understand that sentiment. We've heard it often. That why we have this problem is because it's the ordinary man. We don't even know, I don't know, it might be out there, the names of the doctors that were kidnapped. But should one of those, you know, people be a person of, you know, high substance, that will totally change the operation. But again, before we lose Supol Okosami, that is over there, I had wanted to ask, as a result of this thing that has happened now in Kwara, are you able, given the shortage of staff all over the country in police formations, are you able to put in measures, extra measures, as a result of this, to sort of forestall this kind of an incident? Is that possible?
Actually, like I said earlier, the police in Kwara State, we are not working alone. We work in synergy with other security stakeholders, with other sister security agencies. We work also with professional hunters, we work with vigilantes, and we get information from the information and support from the traditional institutions and the government of the state. What we're doing is, the Commissioner of Police, when he assumed office in Kwara State, he made consultation one of his strategy of combating crime. He has traveled around the whole state. He has met with all these stakeholders. I can also tell you that we have international border in Kwara State where fears are very high that people can infiltrate the state through the international border, and we share border with other volatile states that surround the Kwara State. So we're working together with all these relevant stakeholders to ensure that safety in Kwara State is not in any way jeopardized. I can tell you that, like I said, that this issue is an isolated one. We are doing everything possible. The Commissioner of Police has given a marching order to all the policemen in the command to ensure that anybody that has his flank open for this kind of situation will have himself to blame. So everybody is working hand in gloves now to ensure that we don't experience this anymore.
Okay.
And our men are already
okay, Supol. One second, Supol. I've got Chidi on the line from Abuja. Good morning, Chidi, in Abuja. Chidi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Hello, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to, Doc, good morning as well.
Good morning.
Please, like what we are saying, the fundamental problem we are facing as a nation today is we have a huge number of people who are occupying public positions and have refused to give leadership. And this is the root cause of everything. Like what Doc said here today, the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday, Asari Dokabo, and all the rest of them are adopting this self-defense process because they want to fill the gaps created by the leadership of the country. We are talking about fighting insurgency. And if you come in the southwest, the Amotetu group, police, and these are people that have now said, okay, if the government cannot be able to do this alone, let us come in and partner. And police doesn't want to see them in some places. Doc talks about what is happening with the Eastern Security Network, the Nigerian military, and all the rest of them. This energy resources and all the rest of them that is being misused in the southeast and in the southwest and in some other places in the name of fighting local people that are not taking it as a necessary step to use those efforts in fighting this agency wherever it is. In this country, a group of people came out in a day to fight a certain government. We are threatening that they are going to kill more governors. And nothing is happening. And we are talking about...
Okay, I want to thank you very much. I'm so sorry to jump down on, almost like jumping down your throat like that, but we've run out of time. And thank you very much. That was Chidi in Abuja analyzing the situation. And where you ended, it's in one of the headlines this morning, autumn petitions Inspector General over assassination attempt, and indeed as Adamu assigns probe. That it was public. Do we still have to be petitioning? But that let me not distract myself from where we are now. But this is because Chidi was just saying things happen and nothing else happens, and it must be the way that Governor Tom must have been feeling. If the Punch this morning tells me that autumn petitions Inspector General over assassination, so maybe. Let me just thank Mr. Okasomi, if he's still there. Thank you very much, Supo Ajayi Okasomi, PPRO of the Kwara State Police Command. We'd have liked to do some more with you, but time has run out. But we thank you very much for your time this morning, sir.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Indeed. So, Tony, I think if I were to find one line from everything you've been saying, well, we can't continue to do things in the same way and yet expect a different result.
People are dying.
And yet expect a different result. You haven't seen anything particularly creative in the approaches that we are adopting right now, right?
For now, I think the government should be more engaging, more strategic. The government should look at, true approach towards security. Give the people the confidence that, you are there.
And that we, the government, were there for you.
Yes, because the narrative, we have different narrative from different people, depending on the perspective we are saying it. And it's not helping the government. Okay, then. Thank you very much, Dr. Tony Ofoyeton. Thank you. For making time, as always, for us. And also our thanks to all our viewers that weighed in on this subject matter. It's worrying. It's getting more, frequent, but we have to know that the authorities are on top of it, as Superintendent of Police Ajayi Okasomi in the Kwara State Police Command just indicated over there. Okay, as always, when I leave, I'd like to remind us to, observe all the anti-COVID protocols, mask up when you're out there, wash your hands frequently, don't unnecessarily be in crowds, do everything you can. Indeed, heck, you might even want to take the vaccine. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.